What's up guys? Welcome back sa ating channel. Again, this is your math teacher, Sir Gaor. Ready na po ba tayong matuto ng isang panibagong math lesson? So kung ready na, today we will be studying properties, definitions, postulates, and theorems, and also writing proofs. So this is still under most essential learning competencies. Kung sa tingin nyo nagustuhan nyo yung ating video or meron kayong natutunan sa ating video, you may like this video. You may also comment in the comment section, and sa mga hindi pa po natin subscribers, please subscribe. Let's have our objectives for today's lesson. Use inductive or deductive reasoning in an argument, and write proof, both direct and indirect. Okay, so let's start with our drill. So we are going to look for patterns to answer each question. So analyze lang po natin yung mga pattern, tapos masasagutan na natin yung ating drill. Good luck! Okay, so ready na po ba? Nakita nyo po ba yung mga patterns? For number 1, nandun na yung shaded region sa upper right. For number 2, we will be having 10 dots. For number 3, pag inanalyze natin, all math teachers are strict. I beg to disagree for number 3. Number 4, that is 123,454,321. And for number 5, this made her believe that doctors give excellent services. So, I hope you got a perfect score of 5. So, titignan lang naman po natin dyan yung pattern. Let's now compare inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is the process of gathering specific information, usually through observation and measurement, and making a conjecture based on the gathered information. So, kung familiar po kayo doon sa scientific method na nag-gather muna ng information, tapos nagkakaroon ng observation and then measurement, tapos nakakagawa na ng hypothesis based doon sa nag-gather na information, so that is inductive reasoning. No? While deductive reasoning is the process of showing that certain statements follow logically from agreed assumptions and proven facts. So ito parang ibinigay na agad yung generalization, tapos pinakita na lang kung bakit nagkaganon, no? So based dun sa naging pattern or dun sa logical analysis, nakapagbigay na agad ng generalization, tapos ipapakita na lang kung paano nangyari yon. So kaya nga siya tinawag na deductive reasoning, kasi nga pabawas siya, kasi meron ka ng generalization or conclusion, tapos ipapakita mo na lang. That's why it's considered as process of showing. Okay, let's take note that inductive reasoning is judging by experience, while deductive reasoning is judging by logical reasoning. Let's consider law of detachment. If P then Q is a true statement and P is true, then Q is true. So, ang sinasabi lang dito, dun nga sa term na detachment, so pwede silang paghiwalayin if P then Q is a true conditional statement. What about the law of syllogism? If P then Q and if Q then R are true conditional statements, then if P then R is also true. Okay, so para lang itong transitive property, no? Okay, for example, if the weather is good, then the sun is shining. And if the sun is shining, then we will go swimming. So we will combine them. The answer will be, or applying the law of syllogism, if the weather is good, based from the first one, from the first hypothesis, if the weather is good, then we will go swimming. Let's try this. Suppose that the given statements are true. Use deductive reasoning to give another statement that must also be true. For number 1, all snakes are cold-blooded and a cobra is a snake. And for number 2, a human can fly, or no human can fly, I am a human. So for number 1, the answer is all snakes are cold-blooded. A cobra is a snake. So therefore, we can say that all cobras are cold-blooded. For number 2, no human can fly. I am a human. I cannot fly. Let's have some definition of terms such as properties, definitions, postulates, and theorems. For properties, it is any characteristic that applies to a given set. So, ito yung mga properties of equality, properties of linear inequalities. So, yung mga yan kasi magagamit natin kapag nag-prove na tayo later on. For number 2, for the definition, of course, ito po yung talagang definition na word. It is a statement of the meaning of a term. So, yung pinaka-meaning niya or yung kanyang definition niya. And for postulate, a postulate is a statement that is accepted true without proof. So, ito yung tanggap na nating tama na hindi na natin kailangang patunayan pa. That's postulate. For theorem, it is a statement accepted true after it is proved deductively. So, kapag na-prove siya, doon siya mako-considered as theorem. So, yung theorem, true rin siya, pero pinatunayan muna. Not like postulate na inaccept na agad as true statement. For number 5, proof is a logical argument in which each statement that you make is backed up by a statement that is accepted as true. So, it's a logical argument. So, ito yung patunay na doon sa atin. Ito na yung pinakapatunay natin. Kumbaga kapag nagsosolve tayo, ito yung ating solution. Okay? So, bawat bibigay mong statement, babakapan mo ng reason, no? Which is, that reason is accepted as true. Hanggang sa mapatunayan mo na yung gusto mong patunayan. So, that is proof. Here are kinds of proof. For letter A, we have paragraph or informal proof. Letter B, two-column proof or considered as the formal proof. And the flowchart proof. So, but we will be focusing more on letter B, which is the two-column proof or the formal proof. Okay, so bago po muna tayo makapag-prove, kailangan may idea tayo o kaya may kopya tayo nitong mga definitions, postulates, theorems, at saka properties. Kasi ito ang isasagot natin mamaya doon sa ating mga reasons. Okay, let's start first with letter A. So, we have the statement on the left column and then yung tawag sa kanya or yung name niya sa right column. So, hindi ko na po i-explain lahat. Self-explanatory na lang siya halos or babasahin na lang ng mabuti or tatandaan kasi nga pwede namang may kopya ka para kapag ikaw ay nagbigay ng reason, so alam mo kung saan nanggagaling, saan mo kukuhanin yung iyong reason. Okay, so for number 1, if B is between A and C, or in symbols A and then B and then C, then AB plus BC is equal to AC. So, if that's the case, so ang tawag po dyan ay betweenness. So, paano po ibibigay yung reason mamaya? So, since it is a definition, dahil tayo ay nasa definition yung mga yan, so ang ilalagay natin ay definition of betweenness. So, susulat natin doon sa reason ay definition of betweenness. Hindi betweenness lang, no? So, dapat ay definition of betweenness. Same thing with midpoint. So, ganyan naman po yung midpoint. So, pakibasa nyo na lang po yan lahat, no? So, midpoint, definition of midpoint, definition of segment by sector, etc. Okay? So, yun po ang ilalagay sa mga reasons natin later on. Okay? So, these are the definitions. Let's talk about postulates, yung accepted as true without any proof. So, yan. So, ito, lalagyan na lang ng postulate, no? Points existence postulate, straight line postulate, plane postulate, flat plane postulate, line intersection postulate, plane intersection postulate, the supplement postulate or SP. So, pag nilagyan po ng acronym, pwede po natin gamitin yung acronym na lang. The angle addition postulate or AAP. And for number 24, we have angle sum of a point postulate or ASPP. So those are some postulates. Let's have letter C, theorems. Yung theorems, ito yung pwedeng i-prove, no? Pero pwede rin natin silang magamit for reasoning kasi nga, na-prove na naman ito ng mga dati pang mga mathematicians. For number 25, measures of vertical angles are equal, or the vertical angles are congruent, which is considered as the vertical angle theorem, or yung kanyang acronym ay VAT. The supplement theorem also, which is the ST. The complement theorem or the CT. We have the PCAC theorem. So, ang ibig sabihin ng PCAC ay para doon sa parallel lines, no? If parallel lines cut by a transversal, therefore, it's corresponding angles. Yung CA niya ay corresponding angles. And then, congruent, PCAC. And we also have the PAIC theorem. For parallel lines cut by a transversal, yung kanyang alternate interiors are congruent. And then, for the alternate exteriors are also congruent. Para dun sa parallel lines cut by a transversal. And also, about parallel lines cut by transversal, yung kanyang same side interior angles are supplementary. So, we have the PSS-IAS theorem. And we also have the triangle interior angle theorem, or TIAT. We also have the third angles theorem. We also have the exterior angles of a triangle theorem, or the EAT. The quadrilateral interior angle theorem, or QIAT. We also have the polygon interior angle theorem, or the PIAT. And regular polygon interior angle theorem, or RPIA. We also have the polygon exterior angles theorem, or the PEAT, and right angles congruency theorem. So, yan po yung mga theorems or some of the theorems na pwede nating magamit for reasoning. Let's have the properties. Properties of real numbers. For numbers A, B, and C, statement, if we have A plus B which is equal to B plus A, so familiar na tayo dyan, no? So that is commutative property of addition kapag pinagbaligtad lang sila and addition ng ating operation. Pag pinagbaligtad, pero multiplication, of course, that is the commutative property of multiplication. And kapag nagpalit ng grouping, tapos addition, so we have addition property or associative property of addition. Nagpalit ng grouping pero multiplication, associative property of multiplication. And kapag dinistribute, of course, that is the distributive property. So, yung A ay dinistribute doon sa B plus C. Let's have more on properties of equality. Number 6, we have reflexive property of equality, or pwede nang isulat na lang sa reason na reflexive. We also have the transitive property of equality, substitution property of equality, symmetric property of equality or symmetric, addition property of equality or acronym niya ay APE. We have the SPE, subtraction. For multiplication, we have MPE, and division is DPE. We also have the square root property of equality kapag kinuha natin yung square root ng both sides. And then we also have the zero product property of equality. Kapag minultiply sila, tapos nag-zero, ibig sabihin yung isa sa kanila ay 0 or pareha silang 0. Okay, so before we can write proof, kailangan alam muna natin yung kanina, yung mga sinabi natin kanina, yung mga binasa natin, no? That is self-explanatory. Masyado nang tatagal kapag in-explain pa natin sila isa-isa. So, kung kayang kabisaduhin, pero kung hindi, at least meron kayong hawak na kopya para meron kayong i-answer doon sa ating mga reasons. Kasi yun po ang ilalagay natin sa mga reasons. At dapat naintindihan din sila, syempre, para at least alam mo kung kailan mo sila magagamit. Now, let's write proof. Okay, so here are the steps in proving. First one is to read and understand the theorem. So, intindihin muna natin yung theorem. Tapos, next one is to draw figure and label the parts. So, ito-drawing na natin. Then, the third one is state the hypothesis as given. So, yung naging hypothesis natin, yun ay consider natin as given. Tapos, yung magiging conclusion natin, so, yun na yung ating ipoprove. Remember, this is deductive reasoning, no? And then, for number 4, write the proof which consists of statements and reasons. So, susulat na natin yung ating proof na merong statement tapos reason. So, magpo-focus ulit tayo. Sabi ko nga kanina, magpo-focus tayo dun sa 2-column proof. Okay, so at this point, siguro ready na tayong mag-prove, no? So, let us prove some theorems. Let's start with this one. Prove vertical angles are congruent. That is vertical angle theorem or VAT. Okay, if we are going to write it in if-then form, vertical angles are congruent, it will be, if the angles are vertical, then they are congruent. For the illustration, so yan po yung ating naging illustration dito. So kayo na pong bahala kung ano yung gusto nyong gamiting letters at ano yung gusto nyong ipangalan dun sa mga angles nyo. So pwedeng pangalan ng angle, pwedeng small letter na lang din, or pwede rin namang numbers. Okay, so for our given, we have line PE intersects line RV at point O. So based nga dito sa figure, line PE nag-intersect sila with line RV dito po sa point O. So dito sa part na to. Okay, also we have angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. So itong angle 1, vertical siya with angle 2. Okay, as given in the illustration. Okay, so depende po kung anong nilalagay nyo sa illustration yung magiging given. But most of the time naman, so given na sa illustration, o kaya nandun na agad tayo sa table na agad. So lalagay nyo na lang yung statement, or yung reason rather. Or statement or reason. And we are going to prove that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Kasi nga, sabi doon sa ating hypothesis, if angles are vertical, so binigay yung vertical angles, tapos magiging congruent daw sila. So yun ang papatunayan natin. Okay, so let's now prove it. Write the proof which consists of statements and reasons. So magdodrawing tayo or magagawa tayo ng table or ng 2-column proof. So yung nasa left column ay statements at nasa right column ay reasons. Okay, and then so we have the following statements. Ang magiging challenge nito sa matagal na proving ay kung paano ito magagawa, no? Kung paano magka-come up sa mga ganyang statement. So, practice lang na i-practice para maintindihan kung paano yung magiging flow. Okay, so for the statement, line segment PE intersects line segment RV at point O, and angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles, it was already given. Okay, for number 2, angle 1 and angle 3 form a linear pair, and angle 2 and angle 3 form a linear pair. So kung naalala nyo yung ating kanina, illustration, it is definition of linear pair for our reason for that. And for number 3, angle 1 and angle 3 are supplementary. Same thing with angles 2 and 3. If two angles form a linear pair, then they are supplementary. And for number 4, angle 1 is a supplement of angle 3, and angle 2 is a supplement of angle 3. So, parehas silang supplement ni angle 3. Kaya, yan ay definition of supplement of an angle. And for number 5, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Of course, we can reason out that supplements of the same angles are congruent. So, in giving reasons, so pwede tayong kumuha ng definition, pwedeng postulate theorems, pwede rin namang properties. Tapos kapag wala tayong makita sa mga yon, so pwede tayong mag-construct ng ating sentence, which is a true statement naman. Okay, so let's now go to the last part of this video, which is the try this. So binigay ko na po lahat yan. Meron ng if then, meron ng ring illustration. So ang lalagay na lang po dyan ay yung ating mga reasons. Good luck! These are the correct answers for our try this. Number 1 is given. Number 2, definition of betweenness. Number 3, subtraction property of equality or SPE. And for number 4, additive inverses. Okay, so I hope you get a perfect score of 4. So, pero kung hindi po, ay paki-analyze na lang kung bakit nagkaganyan yung answer. At sobrang importanteng alam natin yung mga postulate, definition, theorems, at saka yung ating properties. So, bago po tayo makapag-prove. So, I hope you learned something new from this video. And I also hope to see you again in our next videos. What's up, guys?